And here you see we got all these in. So this is a total of 4 sheets, and so you don't have to use these spacers, but we did them anyway. And so we really at the hardware store we use the spacers to find out exactly what our tile is, and if you're off a little bit, don't worry about it too much. So we use these spacers so you can see them. So we have, here's a sheet right here, and so we put spacers in between just as a guide. And when I set these on here, I actually set it on as close as I can and put these 1/8" spacers underneath, and then kind of push it down on it to make sure that I'm staying on the same row and the same level. And so right here you can see where I cut out for the outlet, and I had to cut the pieces up here above. And if you're off a little bit on the top, it's not too big of a deal because you're going to be running some latex caulk or silicone caulk right along here on the top. So if you're off a little bit, you won't be able to see it. And from the naked eye, really, if you're off a little bit, no one will really care. So here I'm just going to take my trowel and work it around, make sure there's no voids, and with a small tile in such a small space, you got to make sure that there's really no problems with this, no voids, no clumps or anything, because it will show in the end. So you're going to work it. I'll show you how to set one here in a sec. So just to show you for simplicity, what we did with these is these are actually 6 by 6. We decided with this height, we decided on this height because we didn't want it as tall with 6 of these tiles, 6 high. We decided to go 5 high, so it's easier just to cut it so you don't have to cut tile. So it makes it look like a full sheet and looks really clean. So, I'm gonna come over here. So you can see not really any major clumps or anything. So I'm just going to set this and eyeball it as close as I can. Just barely tap it on there. Get my 1/8" spacers. And then I'm actually going to, since I didn't push it down too far, I'm actually going to kind of slide it to the side so that I make sure that my space is good through here. And then so now that I'm where I want to be, I'm just going to make sure all these are tapped, and so you can still see the mud behind them, but it's on there pretty well. It's not going anywhere. So I'm going to peel this off the back. Attach that on just like that. Put my spacers on and keep on running.